Data centers in Georgia, a growing concern for voters in our state. The two candidates for governor are in some disagreement over those centers and how quickly the state should build them.
The Swamp, the only place in Florida where only gators get out alive. It's a hallmark of tradition and one of the first places many people think of when you mention the University of Florida.
That's right, JC, and Ben Hill Griffin Stadium is going to be getting a new look. Renovations are set to begin next April.
Just like that, summer break is coming to an end. The countdown is on as Atlanta Public Schools kicks off the school year in just over 2 weeks. Classroom activities might look a bit different this time around. A live look for you at the world's busiest airport, where meteorologist Chris Holcomb just checked 75-minute delays there because of some weather issues. Just be aware of that. It's a very busy time there at the airport. Travel continues to ramp up.
Team coverage of drought conditions across our area. WUFT's Alex Land is standing by right here in Gainesville, ready to tell us about how and when people are punished for violating burn bans. But first, forecaster Ruben Roberts is live in the weather studio with the latest update on the severity of these drought conditions.
In Clarkston, trees fell on one woman's home. This is Northern Avenue. It caved in her roof, left a disaster in the kitchen. Other rooms in her house are almost unrecognizable.
And what we're looking at going straight forward is my dining room and my living room, and if you look up, you can see the sky.
Brush fires like these have continued to become a common sight for local fire rescues, even with burn bans in place across north central Florida. Just to name a few, Alachua, Marion, Gilchrist, and Citrus counties are still under mandatory burn bans. WFT's Alex Land is live in Hale Plantation in Gainesville, where there was a brush fire earlier this week. Alex, you learned more about the consequences people face when they violate these burn bans.
Plus, remember the days of the Concorde? Supersonic flight could be making a comeback. How some government agencies are taking steps to revive it. Coming up on 11 Alive, NASA's challenging mission to save a space telescope from crashing down to Earth. How scientists are preparing to keep the telescope far away from the rest of us.
First at 5, from the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
We have new information on the tragic case of 3-year-old Paisley Brown. This is First at 5. I'm Juan Carlos Chaui.
And I'm Madison Ginsburg. According to the Marion County Sheriff's Office, her mother's boyfriend, Jerion Coombs, hit her multiple times, which led to her death. On Monday, we told you neighbors wanted more justice for the toddler, asking for the arrest of Paisley's mother. Asked
and received. On Wednesday, Jennifer Kendrick was handcuffed and sent to the Marion County Jail. This is body cam footage of Kendrick's arrest. She asked detectives if they could pay respects at Paisley's funeral for her. She faces 2 counts of felony child neglect. WFT's Alex Land went to the press conference after Kendrick's arrest in Marion County. He draws out the timeline of the mother's involvement and the case and why she was charged.
The mother of Paisley Brown, the 3-year-old who was beaten to death in Marion County, is now facing charges of child neglect. Marion County Sheriff's Office PIO Lieutenant Paul Bloom held a press conference here earlier today, and he says justice will run its course.
On top of this charge of aggravated child abuse against Paisley, Jerion Coombs was charged with homicide and aggravated child abuse against 2 other children living in the home. Deputies say he admitted to tying up Paisley's hands and feet and repeatedly dropping her on the ground. MCSO says his violent actions led to her death. Suwannee County neighbors, if you heard a loud boom this morning, we have an answer as to what happened. Take a look here. The Suwannee County Sheriff's Office used an explosive device to execute a warrant at this motel in Live Oak. If you missed the explosion here, it is again. SCSO deputies used a breaching device to get into Chester Chair's room at the Royal Inn Motel on US Highway 129. Authorities say Chairs was wanted for having illegal drugs. Sheriff's deputies arrested him and found meth, cocaine, marijuana, and fentanyl in his room. Law enforcement took Chairs to the Suwannee County Jail.
Getting out the t-shirts and shorts in early March, this is exactly why you live in Florida, but it isn't usually this warm outside. We're seeing near record temperatures across our area. There's plenty of sun at I-75 near Paynes Prairie, and we could see the warmth last into next week. Joining us now at the desk here is Ruben Roberts, WFT forecaster. Ruben, it looks like we're out of the trenches with the cold weather, unless you think we're going to get some more.
I'll have everything you need to know in just a few minutes.
Over $3,000 worth of sports clothing were recovered after a Lake City man and woman were caught stealing from a sporting goods store. On Wednesday, LCPD responded to a shoplifting report from Dick's Sporting Goods. Detectives identified the thieves as Oliver Prince and Leonte Williams. Florida Highway Patrol located the suspected car traveling towards Gainesville. Both suspects were taken into custody and the Nike clothes were recovered.
2 Dixie County parents are out on bond after Dixie County sheriffs arrested them, saying they faked their son's cancer diagnosis to make money. According to DCSO, Edward Downing and Stephanie Skiers brought their son to health providers in 2024. Investigators say the parents were looking to get medical care because their son was losing weight. The medical providers didn't find any cancer or tumors, though, but authorities say the parents started fundraisers telling people their son had cancer. Sheriffs arrested Downing and Skiers in late February on charges of communications fraud and child neglect, but they made bond at $75,000 each.
After a railroad tie fire in Denellen invoked a state of emergency, neighbors continue to deal with the aftermath. A community meeting is set for tonight to discuss the next move. We told you last week neighbors filed a class action lawsuit against Trackline Rail, CSX Transportation, and Florida Northern Rail. The fire broke out in early February, and since then, all the companies involved say they are working to remove the ties and conduct air and ground quality testing. But in the lawsuit, the companies are accused of acting recklessly despite known risks with the stockpiles. Neighbors we spoke to say they're experiencing health complications that include headaches and respiratory problems.
So knowing the long-term results of what's going to happen, you know, in a few days, am I going to start itching? In a few days, is my hair going to fall out? In a few days, you know, am I going to notice that I got different growths on my body?
The meeting starts in less than 90 minutes at Union Missionary Baptist Church. Organizers say lawyers will attend to answer any questions.
Marion County Public School leaders met today to discuss a rezoning plan for 4 Northside elementary schools. We first told you about the plan last month. Parents could see some changes come to Anthony, Spar, Reddick Collier, and Ocala Springs elementary schools. School leaders say it's because of imbalances with enrollment numbers. Some changes could include rezoning and combining schools and closing others. Community input meetings don't start until this coming Thursday. Our Noticias team is also covering how school rezoning in some North Central Florida counties could impact children. To get more on stories like this, tune in each Sunday at noon right here on Channel 5 for your Spanish language news.
The Florida Department of Health in Marion County is offering free or low-cost breast cancer screenings on March 25th. One of the department's mobile screening buses is heading to the DOH Marion Ocala facility. The bus is available from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. that day. For a full list of requirements to get a full screening, visit WUFT.org.
Speed, faster than fast and quicker than quick. Gainesville, when we return, it's time to get those wheels spinning at the annual drag race event. Gator Nationals starts today, and our reporters are live on the track and will show you just how fast these cars can go.
And there's one hurricane name you're never going to hear again. New records show the storm was even more powerful than meteorologists first thought. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
How soon could the Appalachia shooter's father see parole after his 15-year sentence? We're breaking down the eligibility timeline.
Plus, we have more details on the group claiming responsibility for hacking Coca-Cola's milk brand.
And our Midtown camera looking majestic right now, but it could be gloomy for you, at least for part of the weekend. Good afternoon, and thanks so much for watching and streaming 11 Alive. Hopefully, you've been able to get outside and enjoy some of the conditions out there.
Yeah, not very humid out there. Gorgeous blue skies, but they may not stick around much longer. Let's get right to our chief meteorologist, Chris Holcomb, to talk more about that. Chris?
You know, we've been telling people the last 2 days to get out there, soak it up, really under storms. I'll have more on that coming up.
All right, Chris, thank you. Authorities in Gilmer County are still looking for a man who went missing during Tuesday night storms. Crews were back out on Carter's Lake this morning searching for 37-year-old Sean Michael Cunningham. Kayakers found his backpack and truck earlier this week, but not the canoe he was in. If you have any information that could help authorities find Cunningham, you're asked to please reach out to law enforcement right away.
This week marked the end of a heart-wrenching legal process for the Appalachia High School community. Both the shooter and his father convicted and sentenced for every criminal count that they faced for the 2024 shooting that claimed the lives of 2 teachers, Christina Irami and Ricky Aspinwall, and 2 students, Christian Angulo and Mason Shermer-Horn. 16-year-old Colt Gray will now spend the rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole. 55-year-old Colin Gray will spend 15 years in prison with the possibility of parole. 11 Live's Grace King shows us how much time Colin Gray could spend in jail.
There's no sentence that can undo the pain. In Barrow County, Grace King, 11 Alive News.
In southeast Georgia, a wildfire is causing problems for drivers. It forced officials to temporarily shut down parts of I-95. Officials say it started with a lightning strike in a marsh. This is the Camden County wildfire. As of Wednesday evening, it hadn't impacted any homes or businesses. It caused visibility issues on the road. Some truck drivers decided to take a break at a Chevron station and head of pushing on through all of that smoke and haze.
Truckers started coming in here and said there was real bad smoke. They couldn't get through. So our whole parking lot was full of trucks because they weren't allowed to pass.
Officials don't want people flying drones in this area either. They could get in the way of aircraft fighting that fire. Julie, that visibility really tough.
It's also causing some big slowdowns there.
All right, Julie, thank you so much. Well, if you are hitting the roads this weekend, you could be seeing some slowdowns. Our Rachel Cox-Rosen breaks down interstate construction plans that you will want to know about. And you can watch more stories like this on your time. All you have to do is download our 11 Live app. You can do that by scanning the QR code here you see on your screen.
The UGA School of Medicine welcomes its first group of students, how they'll be helping people across Georgia during their time in the program. And you can watch the day's biggest stories, updates on breaking news, all on your time with the 11 Live app. Download it to your TV to stream today.